In a quiet old industrial town in Pennsylvania, where the sound of factory whistles has long faded, lives a man named George Whitman, now 70. George used to be a senior technician in a steel plant, one of those dependable hands everyone trusted. When his wife passed away and his son moved to Texas, George became what people call an empty nester. At first, he did what most retirees do. He played chess in the park, fed the pigeons, and tinkered with old tools in his garage. But the days began to feel long. The silence in his house grew heavy. He realized something was missing, not just his wife's laughter, but a deeper sense of connection. Then, one winter evening, something happened that changed him. A neighbor, an elderly woman named Mrs. Patterson, slipped in her kitchen and broke her hip. She lived alone. No one noticed for 2 days. That tragedy shook his doors. He realized the biggest risk for people like him wasn't just physical illness, it was emotional isolation. So, George decided to do something. He went door to door, visiting every older resident in his apartment complex. He took down their phone numbers, health conditions, and emergency contacts. Then he formed what he called the Neighborly Circle, a small, friendly support group. He printed out a buddy contact sheet, pinned it to the community board, and invited everyone for coffee on Saturdays. They agreed on one simple twice a day in their group chat, just a short message to say, "I'm okay." Soon, they started organizing weekly meets. They'd go grocery shopping together or just chat in the courtyard. A few even learned to use smartphones, with George patiently showing them how to make video calls to their grandkids. To make the group more lively, George set up a fix-it corner in the community hall. Using his old skills, he repaired people's coffee makers, lamps, and radios, all for free. Word spread. More seniors joined, and even younger residents began volunteering. The once silent complex slowly filled with laughter again. Someone once asked George, "Aren't you tired?" "You're always busy." He smiled and said, "When I was home alone, the hours felt endless. Now, the days are so full, I wish I had more time." George's story shows us that human connection is the ultimate source of warmth. In our later years, stable social bonds aren't just comforting, they're healing. They lower anxiety and remind us we're part of something larger than ourselves. Today, so many older adults fall into isolation, not because of physical distance, but because of inner withdrawal. They convince themselves they're too old to make friends, or fear being a burden. But that self-imposed silence only deepens the emptiness. In truth, connection doesn't need to be grand. Even 1 or 2 true friends can fill life with warmth again. Breaking loneliness can be as simple as saying hello to a neighbor or lending a hand. Every small act of kindness builds a bridge and warms your own heart. Now, let me tell you another story about a man named Robert Henson. At 65, he proved that life's second half can be just as vibrant as its first. Robert was a government clerk for nearly 40 years. His life was safe, maybe too safe. When he retired, his children were grown, and his wife was busy. Suddenly, Robert had no idea what to do with himself. He spent his days watching TV, napping, and eating too much. The pounds crept on, and his spirits sank. He began to wonder, is this it? Is this what's left for me? Then, one day, his grandson showed him a camera. At first, Robert just played around, snapping random photos in the park. But something about photography caught his heart. The colors, the light, the patience it required, it woke something inside him. He signed up for a senior photography class. Soon, he was exploring every street in town, capturing moments of daily life, a child's laughter, an old bridge, a morning fog over the river. Within 5 years, Robert's photos began winning awards, but more importantly, he found friends who shared his passion. Together, they started a photography for change project, documenting the lives of working families and forgotten corners of their city. Last year, Robert held his own solo exhibit. Watching him proudly guide visitors through his gallery, his children realized their father wasn't just aging, he was living again. The psychologist Erik Erikson once said that in later life, our challenge is to achieve integrity rather than despair, to see our story as meaningful. That's exactly what Robert did. Many retirees feel lost because they think their role in society has ended. But retirement isn't an ending, it's a new beginning. It's a time to finally pursue what you love. You have experience, patience, and perspective. Whether it's learning an instrument, writing a memoir, or planting a garden, every new purpose gives life color again. Remember Grandma Moses. She didn't start painting until she was 67 and became a beloved artist. Age is never the barrier. The only barrier is giving up on curiosity. Finally, let's meet Mary Thompson, a 72-year-old woman who spent years wrestling with regret and finally found peace. Mary used to be the star of her workplace. When she was young, she dreamed of moving to New York to work in theater, but family kept her in her small hometown. That what if never left her heart. After retirement, she'd see her old colleagues' successful lives online and feel a pinch of pain. I could have been like them, she'd whisper. Her health began to suffer from anxiety and sleepless nights, until one day, while cleaning her closet, she found an old diary. Inside were pages filled with her youthful dreams, laughter, and memories with friends and family. Reading those words, Mary realized her life wasn't a failure. It was full of love, kindness, and beautiful, ordinary moments she had forgotten to treasure. Raising kind children, keeping lasting friendships, building a home full of laughter, those were her masterpieces. From that day, she decided to stop comparing and start living. Now, she practices Tai Chi in the park, takes watercolor classes, and sings in a choir. She even writes short essays about aging gracefully that get published in local magazines. Mary says, "Life is like a painting, not every stroke is perfect, but when you step back, you see how every line adds to its beauty." Her transformation shows us that embracing imperfection is a sign of true health. For seniors, it means welcoming physical changes, not fearing them. It means forgiving ourselves for what never was and cherishing what is. As the poet Tagore wrote, "If you cry because the sun has gone out of your life, your tears will prevent you from seeing the stars." As we reach the end of today's story, let's reflect. We've met George, who built a bridge of kindness. We've met Robert, who rediscovered purpose through a camera. And we've met Mary, who made peace with her beautiful, imperfect life. Their stories remind us that an empty nest isn't the end. It's the opening of a new chapter. What truly empties life isn't being alone, it's losing connection, passion, and purpose. As long as your heart still cares, as long as you still have curiosity and something to wake up for, you are never truly alone. Life after 60 may be slower, but it's also richer, filled with wisdom and choice. You can plant a garden, learn a skill, mentor a young person, or simply share your stories. As the writer Aninin once said, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. So keep your heart warm, your spirit curious, and your days full of meaning. Because even in solitude, A heart that burns with love can light up the world around it. May every senior listening today feel that warmth inside you. May your days be full of gentle light, laughter, and peace. And remember, you are not at the end. You are at the beginning of something quietly beautiful. Thanks for watching.